Welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy Virtual Studio right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. It is so great to be with all of you today. It is Monday, June 30th, and we have a jam-packed week of shows. It is a holiday week, obviously. 4th of July on Friday. And yes, I saw over the weekend that Alex Jones is talking about the bioterror event that supposedly may happen on July 4th. We were talking about that with Dr. David Martin about 3-4 weeks ago. He has been talking about that for quite some time. We're going to keep an eye on that, but the fear porn is ramping up, and it makes you wonder what they have in store for us in order to justify a larger expansion of the military surveillance state here in the US. We are in a pickle, guys, big time. So we have a big lineup of guests this week. I'm going to let you know in just a moment who we're going to be welcoming into the Joy Virtual Studio. But welcome to the week. It's great to see all of you on the live chat. We're live on Rumble, live on Twitter, Spreely TV, Roku TV, Apple TV. We are on Daily Clout every day. Great partnership with Naomi Wolf and the team over there. Ex America News is running the SJ Show live on the Twit, and we're so thankful for our partnership with Patriot TV as well. They run the Shannon Joy Show every day, I think right around 2:30 p.m. So all of our partners, plus every podcast platform you can ever imagine, reaching upwards over 2 million views every single month on this little independent network. It's just amazing. You guys look fantastic. On the live chat, we have the kindest, sweetest, smartest, most intelligent live chat in all of Rumble. And I'm going to be spending a lot of time with you guys today. It is just you and me, mano y mano. I mentioned tomorrow we're going to welcome into the Joy Virtual Studio for the very first time Seth Holhouse. He is Man in America. I'm not sure if you guys follow him on Twitter or follow his channel right here on Rumble, but Seth is great. You know, right now I'm on a mission to introduce this audience to as many independent, outside of the two-party political paradigm voices, reporters, journalists, you name it, people who are not in the left-right cult, who are not operating within that false lens, that false paradigm. I don't know how anyone with a brain, any commentator, any colleague of mine who does this job every day can address any political issues in the United States of America without first understanding and presenting what seems to be an absolute blatant truth, that these two political parties are in it together. There is no discernible difference whatsoever. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today on the Shannon Joy Show. But we've been having a rash of new voices, new faces, new contributors on the SJ Show, as so many of our contributors over the past couple years have gone into the political fray in Washington, D.C. And of course, if they are aligned with a political party, whether it's the left or the right, we're not going to use them here on the show as trusted sources. So we're finding new independent critical sources who are outside of that two-party paradigm. And Seth Holhouse has been on fire. I cannot wait to introduce you to Seth tomorrow on the Shannon Joy Show. Wednesday, working on Dr. David Martin. Last week, he said he could come in this week, and I think Wednesday is going to be the day. If not, we're going to get him next week. But fingers crossed, Dr. David Martin, working on him for Wednesday. And we have Aaron Day booked for Thursday this week on the SJ Show. Another absolutely critical expert, reporter, journalist, educator on the technocracy, transhumanism, and also digital IDs, digital money, Tether, stable coins. A lot of that language is worked into the big, beautiful bill, which is actually a big betrayal bill. So many bad things in that bill. relating to artificial intelligence and also digital currencies. And Aaron Day has been, again, on fire on that topic. So we have a great lineup of guests this week, and I have a couple amazing new guests to introduce to you guys next week as well. But you see the headline for today's show. This is what we're going to discuss. I have a bunch of reports here. One of the most important one from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. We do have organizations who are out there telling the truth. The entirety of right-wing news media, whether it's Fox News, talk radio, or any of the right-wing influencers out there, absolutely asleep at the wheel. They don't even have a pulse. They are so mired in complacency and so numbed by their cult worship of this president, Donald Trump, that they can't see the similarities between Joe Biden's Build Back Better and Donald Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. And you guys can see that's the headline today. The left-right political cult and idolatry are destroying America from within. It is time for us to emancipate, to free our minds from the lie that there are two political parties who actually have different agendas. Their agendas are always the same: bigger government, more power, and the crushing of liberty and our Constitution and our way of life here in the US. They don't care. We are post-constitutional, untethered from our founding documents. And these politicians, left and right, are on a drunken spending spree in Washington, D.C., but it's not just about the spending. There are so many horrifying provisions buried in the BBB, the big betrayal bill, that it's actually, I could actually say this honestly, potentially worse than anything that came out of the Biden administration. And you remember, Biden's BBB was Build Back Better, and it featured trillion-dollar spending bills, debt deficit spending, shameful corporate handouts, an expansion of the global technocratic surveillance state, and a variety of liberty-crushing initiatives. That was Biden's BBB. Trump's BBB is the Big Beautiful Bill, and it too features trillion-dollar spending bills, debt and deficit spending, shameful corporate handouts, expansion of the global technocratic surveillance state, and of course, a variety of liberty crushing initiatives, including the 10th Amendment, with the AI provisions that ban any states or localities from having any say whatsoever in the expansion of AI technology in the United States of America for 10 years. This provision also hands out trillions of dollars in benefits to private corporations like Palantir, run by Peter Thiel, who, as we know, dumped a ton of money into Donald Trump's election campaign to get him elected, and also installed his own protege, the bought and paid for JD Vance, in the office of the vice presidency, right? So that they can experience the largesse of the United States federal government. And it is one contract after another, one handout after another. It's no wonder that predictions were made that Elon Musk would be the world's first trillionaire by, I think it was something like 2030, or maybe even in the next couple of years. So it's just awful. It's awful. There's a pattern here, guys, in case you can't see it. And from my vantage point, it's amazing and disturbing to witness the cultists on both the right and the left literally switching sides every 4 years. Meanwhile, as you all know, the problem, reaction, solution cycle of tyranny in the United States of America that has persisted for the past 30, 40, 50 years continues over the weekend, with Alex Jones now throwing out all the fear porn about the bioterror attack on the United States of America on the 4th of July. Yes, we told you about this. There is an entire bipartisan panel that convened in 2024 to game plan, to strategize, well, what would the U.S. do if there was a bioterror attack on July 4th, 2025? And let me tell you, the lockdowns that they are preparing to respond to a bioterror attack will make COVID-19 lockdowns look like child's play. We are talking full scale boot of the military in every state across the nation. And they declare those emergencies, you lose all of your constitutional rights. That's how dangerous the times that we live in are today, right? But we're not fearful here in the Shannon and Joy Show. We're not allowed to be afraid because what do we understand, right? They are only as powerful as the power that we give to them. There are 360 million Americans. It is very difficult to lock us all down, especially if a principled minority, as few as 10% of the American public, absolutely refuse to do so. And that's what we're going to need moving forward if they try anything. They want us to think that they're all powerful, all seeing, that they can get away with anything, and they are. It's brazen and audacious how horrifying the lies are, how quickly they betray us and stab us in the back on a whole host of issues. They don't even care anymore. It's quite evident that these tyrants in Washington, D.C. do not fear the public. They do not fear we, the people, in a real way. We need to make them fear us. And that is by emancipating, removing ourselves from this process, getting local. Are you worried about thousands or hundreds of thousands of miles of data centers being plopped in your backyard in your hometown? Well, then get connected, get organized, and get ready to resist from the bottom up. Refuse to comply, build your organizations. It's all hands on deck. And for those Americans who still believe in our Constitution and freedom and common sense and rationality, right? Now is the time for us to stand up because we're going to have to resist again. Strange times that we live in, right? So we have the problem, reaction, solution. Alex Jones predicting the bioterror event about a couple months too late. Are we headed for lockdown 2.0? Probably. They're going to try. They're going to try something. Rinse and repeat. But as always, I will be here outside of the fracas, meeting and greeting with all of you, trying to figure out what the heck is going on and figure out how to survive in the madness, right? Guitar Lily, a tireless minority. That is such a critical point. Guitar Lily, welcome to the live chat. Appreciate you. We just never give up, guys. Everyone's like, well, there's no point. Well, my guy didn't get into office. Well, we send them to Washington, D.C., and then they betray us. Of course they do. We've taught them to betray us over and over because we keep playing their game, right? You just have to never give up. Maintain those principles. Tether yourself to principles, not politicians, not political parties, not your favorite media announcer or pundit. They're horrible. In fact, I brought a prop today for today's show. I didn't know if I was going to get to it. But yesterday, so I'm show prepping, right? And getting ready to do the show. And yesterday, I just happened to kind of glance at my bookcase. And I have all of these books that I got over the years. See, I'm not unlike so many of you. I had my periods of political idolatry and worshiping a political movement or a party or a talk radio host. This one is Sean Hannity. I have his book. What else do I have here? Glenn Beck. All these books. We have Bill O'Reilly. Who's looking out for you, right? They write these books. Who's looking out for you? Mark Levin, Plunder and Deceit, right? Mark Levin today is defending the Republicans and the president of the United States, whom he worships, right? As they are deceiving us and engaging in like the most breathtaking kind of plunder I've ever witnessed in my life. But see, they write these books. They're frauds, or maybe not necessarily frauds. I'm sure they're all very nice people, but they just sold out. I don't know why they do this. I don't know why it's so hard to go to Washington, D.C., do what you say you're going to do. I don't know what the allure is. Is it money? Is it, I'm sorry, I have a tickle in my throat. Is it money? Is it power? I don't know. Oh, this one's good. A Time for Truth by Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, who is championing, all right? This is the guy, Ted Cruz, who is spearheading. When you realize how bad this AI provision absolutely smashing the 10th Amendment of our Constitution, you just have to wonder how Ted Cruz can even sleep at night, how he can kiss his kids goodbye at night, how he can look in the mirror. I mean, he wrote the book on the Constitution, and he was all about truth. Unbelievable. What else do I? I'm getting rid of all these books, by the way. I'm just tossing them. Oh, Hillbilly Elegy. This was not a good book. J.D. Vance. I found J.D. Vance to be very unlikable in Hillbilly Elegy. He seemed very, what do I want to say, insecure. I didn't think it was a great book. People seem to love it, but I didn't. What else do I have in here? It just reminds me, Glenn Beck, the eye of Moloch, right? Everything is so evil and all the evils out there. Meanwhile, we have transgenderism, transhumanism. By the way, transgender surgeries and gender affirming treatments for minors has been put back in the big, beautiful bill, erasing the executive order that President so ceremoniously signed, however many months ago, with all of those little girls surrounding him in the Oval Office to accolades and cheer. Well, it's all gone. It's been put back into the big beautiful bill, and Trump's going to sign it, right? So, when when the apparatus of Congress erases the majority of the executive orders that Donald Trump got so much great press from all of these losers, okay, Ted Cruz, Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity, Mark Levin, when they put it all back in the big beautiful bill and then he signs it, that means that he is tacitly endorsing it. It's not some trickery that came down from Congress, right? Oh, poor Trump, he didn't know it was in the bill. He didn't know it. Oh, they slipped it in at the last minute, right? Poor baby Trump didn't know. His advisors got him again. Like, when is the guy ever going to have to take responsibility for the bills that he signs? We were saying this way back in 2016, 17, 18, and 19 in his first administration, when he signed the bills that were endorsed and promoted by Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. It's just insane. They probably wrote them. What else do I have here? More Glenn Beck. I was a Glenn Beck fan for a long time. Dreamers and Deceivers. Okay, that one. Speaking of deceivers, right? Why won't Glenn Beck talk about mRNA technology? Why won't Glenn Beck talk about vaccines and vaccine injury? Right? Why do they always omit the most important things? And then another one, Addicted to Outrage by Glenn Beck. So yeah, these are all going in the trash. I put them in my bag. I'm like, maybe I'll use them for a prop today on the show. I mean, it just goes to remind you, and remind me, they aren't going to come save us. And political idolatry, idolizing pundits and commentators, even myself. Guys, if I ever start acting like these guys, I want you guys to dump me so fast my head will spin, because I don't even want to do this if I don't know. I don't know what happens. You guys can tell me. Bilbo Flappers, I see you there. You're brand new on the live chat. I mean, why do they sell out? I mean, it's probably a variety of different reasons, money, power, proximity to power. Maybe a lot of them are dumber than we thought they were, and they really just read scripts. Maybe they don't care. Maybe they're blackmailed. Maybe they're coerced. I mean, I'm sure everyone has, the timeline of history from when they go in bright-eyed and bushy-tailed into Washington, D.C., right? I'm going to change the world and we're going to hold them accountable and all the things. And then it's like, I mean, let's be honest though. The amount of time that it took for them to go from bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and principled and truth tellers to, just complete scoundrels. Back in the day, it was like years. Some of them were in, 5-10 years before you really saw them pull the mask off. These days, it's breathtaking how fast they betray you. I mean, the Bobby Kennedy Jr. betrayal is I have whiplash. It is the fastest, most blatant betrayal I have ever seen. Bob Malone is, he's going after everyone. He went after me. He's gone after Naomi Wolf. He called our group, that's me, Mary Talley Bowden, and Sasha Latapova, because of the letter that we wrote. It was, holding Bobby Kennedy Jr. accountable for the promises he made during his campaign season. Bob Malone called us a hate group after that. And now I think that he was going after Toby Rogers, of all people, who is amazing. Oh, and also Dr. Peter McCullough had a nasty, nasty tweet about Dr. Peter McCullough. So Malone is ripping the mask off in a breathtaking fashion. And as you guys know, I mean, I'm the girl, I'm the queen of the long rope. Like I will get so that no one can ever say to me, "Oh, Shannon, you just hate so and so. Oh, Shannon, you just don't like Trump. You just hate Trump. You have Trump derangement syndrome, right? Or you didn't give them enough time. You have to trust the plan. It's 12-dimensional chess. Just wait, Shannon. Give it time. Give it time." I hear this all the time. And because I hear this all the time, and I have heard this for over the past 12 years, I give people a long rope. Like I will give them the benefit of the doubt for years until I see the discernible policy outcome. And that's what I did with Bobby Kennedy Jr. That's what I did with Bob Malone as well, because there are a lot of people who said to me at the time, and you guys know who you are. You warned me. You said, Malone, he is like deep into the Department of Defense and DARPA and all of the things. And I saw that he was, but I was also like, you got to give people a chance to become a whistleblower. I mean, the definition of a whistleblower is like you're deep in the belly of the beast, and then you can't do it anymore for some reason. You come out and you blow the whistle. So, like, there's got to be some grace given to people who are once inside, had an epiphany for whatever reason, and now are on the outside, which was the accommodation that I gave to both Bobby Kennedy Jr. and Bob Malone. But they have, I mean, it is not even, it is blatant. I mean, the number of mRNA technologies coming out. By the way, Bob Malone, Martin Kulldorff, and Retzif, I'm trying to remember the last name, but these appointees to ACIP, remember all of the Bobby Kennedy Jr. like cleaned house over at ACIP and fired 17 people, and there was weeping and gnashing of teeth, and everything was just so terrible, right? And then, he comes in like a hero and appoints Bob Malone and Martin Kulldorff to ACIP, and now that's going to change everything. Last week, they voted to recommend, I believe, the RSV vaccine, which I'm pretty sure is an mRNA, but don't quote me on that. I don't have anything in front of me. They voted to recommend that, or approved the recommendation for children, the RSV shot. And that happened last week. Oh my gosh, the wearables, the biosurveillance, the promises to dump millions, if not billions, if not trillions of dollars into biosurveillance. That is the federal government monitoring our bodies 24/7 and feeding that into these massive databases that they plan to build in the big, beautiful bill, which is a big betrayal bill. It's all just so terrible. And so this is the insanity that we live in here in the United States of America circa 2025. You do get the sense that we're like ramping up to something. I mean, I have some reports here too on the debt and the deficit. Ed Dowd was just on with Greg Hunter in a report basically saying, I mean, the cat is out of the bag. I mean, this economy is nowhere near as good as they are telling you from conservative media outlets. It's on its last legs. And this is why so many institutional investors, countries, and international banks are moving into metals, gold and silver. And so, very good conversation between Ed Dowd and Greg Hunter. I linked it on last week's show notes. Actually, it's still linked today on the show notes. And yes, this is why, guys, I have been telling you, I've been telling you for so long, like, get a metals strategy. This is actually a good segue for Colonial Metals Group. Nothing is changing. This BBB bill is, I mean, what is it? $5 trillion added. 4 trillion. This is the headline from Committee for the Responsible Federal Budget. The Senate reconciliation bill could add over 4 trillion to the United States debt. That's insane. So yeah, if you add that, that's 500 billion to 1.5 trillion more in borrowing than under the House passed bill. That's where they come up with a $5 trillion number. Okay. This thing is going to pass and Donald Trump is going to sign it. Now there is pushback. Tom Massey doing a great job, even though we don't idolize political heroes. Tom Massey is really the only guy standing up and speaking out against this bill in a meaningful way for the right reasons within the correct context. I'm working on getting Tom Massey on the Shannon Joy Show. I've been reaching out for months to his people and to Tom Massey himself. If anyone has a line on Tom Massey, I would really like to get him in to talk about this and help him promote his work. But we're going to get into this bill. The point being that nothing is changing. Nothing is changing. We are looking at a Trump administration, Republican control, taking the entirety of the Biden administration, okay, pretending to get rid of it during Doge and the flurry of executive orders, right? But then putting it all back in, first in the House bill and now in the Senate reconciliation bill. And it only gets worse from here. In addition to the economy destroying, middle class fleecing, profligate spending, disgusting budget that has to do with the fiscal house, right? There are also liberty crushing provisions in this bill that we're going to have to address after it passes. We're going to have to wage a massive resistance, especially against these AI data centers and the expansion of AI into all of the areas of governance in Washington, D.C. It's bad, bad, bad. And so the point is that they're no different. Anyone who is seriously engaged in political analysis, who is not acknowledging identical bills when it comes to spending, when you look at the words on the page, the line items, the handouts, whether they're always different corporations that get the handouts, but they're still there, right? It is absolutely breathtaking. And again, conservative media, that's why I have my bag full of conservative media books that I'm getting rid of. I'm just going to throw them in the trash. I mean, these people, that we trust. And I did. Oh my gosh. I grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh. And then I really like Glenn Beck. And then Mark Levin was great with all of the references to the Constitution. And they said all the things that I believed in, right? And they always pointed to the Democrats as the evildoers, and they are, right? I mean, Ted Cruz was really the last one. That's why I have his poster up here in the studio, but I'm taking that down. We're going to replace that with an original Sasha Latapova, Daniel in the Lion's Den, which I've showed you guys before. And so Ted Cruz is coming down. We're gonna mount the Sasha and continue with I should Truth or Rick, I should hold a book burning ceremony. I mean, I'm not really for book burning, but these people, I mean, the things that they say versus what they are ignoring and looking away from today, the things they are promoting with this president, this big, beautiful bill is a big betrayal. And, just the most recent. It's crazy. But anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, Colonial Metals Group. Get your gold and silver strategy put together today. This is, again, nothing is changing. So what does that mean? It means that we are still in a situation here in the US with the economy. It's like a train barreling down the track, set on fire, 90 miles an hour with a drunken conductor heading right off a cliff. Like that's kind of where we are with this economy. And so, especially with the US dollar, our currency, they have taken this as far as they possibly can. Everyone understands this. And this is why gold is now tier 1 status. That's what Ed Dowd was talking about. Gold is money good, meaning you could buy a house with gold. We could see a situation, especially with Texas and Florida now adopting gold and silver as legal tender. That is the first step to their ability to establish a sovereign bank. If the states begin, which is perfectly constitutional, if the states begin to establish sovereign banks and they accept gold and silver as legal currency, then that is the beginning of states being able to fund the mechanisms of government in their own states without the federal government, right? We get to give the big middle finger to the federal government as the states begin to seize back fiscal and monetary authority and fund schools and bridges and roads and the necessary elements of governance, the type of government that we all kind of envision as Americans, right? Like the roads, the utilities, education, maybe a little bit of healthcare or welfare for like the poorest of the poor. Like basic rational governance, not the absolute shit show that we see in Washington D.C. Okay? So what does that mean? It means that gold and silver they could skyrocket. They could go sky high if that becomes like the dominant reserve for the 21st century. You could see a huge acceleration in the value. And it's also just a great way to hedge against chaos. If you have saved your entire life, you're a retiree, and your money is wrapped up in a 401k, IRA, and it's the stock market or even federal government instruments, you have to consider physical gold and silver as a hedge. Doesn't mean you have to go in and go all in on it. It could be a portion, it could be a quarter, less than that, but everyone needs to be hedging right now with physical gold and silver, and also physical gold and silver backing up your retirement. As you guys know, Colonial Metals Group this company is amazing. I trust this company. I know all the primaries. We've been working with them for years, and they take amazing care of this audience. So you're going to want to go to colonialmetalsgroup.com/joy, colonialmetalsgroup.com/joy. See if you qualify for $7,500 in free silver. This is an amazing company. They are not going to give you a pressure sell. They're not going to manipulate. They don't do fear selling in any capacity. They just give you all the information that you need and let you make the decision that is right for you and your family. So colonialmetalsgroup.com/joy. It is also linked in the show notes, and Annie will pop that up right in the live chat. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to go right to all of you. I see you on the live chat. I kind of laid out my agenda. I have some articles here that we can go through. I can tell you a little bit more about the big, beautiful bill and the terrible land provision where they were prepared to sell off, millions of acres of pristine U.S. land to the lowest bidders, their billionaire cronies. I think we might have thwarted that. That was stripped, I believe, yesterday, but I need to confirm that. We can also talk about the AI provision, which is being championed by Ted Cruz, among others, and is firmly ensconced within this bill. It would be great if we could strip that out. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it. And then also this piece, the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. It's just disgusting. It's disgusting what they're doing. And I can't believe, there are actually conservative commentators out there who are with a straight face telling their audiences that this bill is not going to increase the debt and deficits. The ease with which they lie is breathtaking. I know I've said that word like 17 times. It's the word of the day, I suppose. But I can't, you can't believe what you're witnessing. The blatant lies. It's just insane. So we're going to take a quick break. Annie, thank you for producing the show today. As always, we love Inez Annie Cyrus. She is the producer of the Shannon Joy Show. She's going to take us to break. When we come back, we're going to hit the live chat, and I'm going to spend the rest of this show with all of you. So get your questions ready, your comments ready, pop them up in all caps in the live chat. If you made a comment or had a question at the beginning of the show and I didn't get to it, post it again so that I can see it, because there's a lot going on this chat. By the way, welcome to all of the YouTube viewers here on the Shannon Joy Show. We just relaunched the SJ Show YouTube strategy. Last week, we had 4 live viewers on YouTube, which I know doesn't sound great, but we didn't get censored. I think I said vaccine 17 times, and it didn't get pulled down. I didn't get slapped with a notice of wrong speech, and they didn't take it down. So this is a huge development. We are now able to platform on YouTube. So we're going to enjoy that for as long as we can, censorship free. And we are going to, oh yeah, nice, CJP Rumble. I have YouTube pulled up. Nice, I love it. So I'm super psyched. If you are watching on YouTube right now, Welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We had a nice chat going on YouTube in last week. And Annie, if you want to keep an eye on the live chat on YouTube, let me know if we have any comments and we can say hi to them. Thank you to the audience on Twitter. Great to see all of you, and on Facebook as well. Let's go to break. When we come back, it's a free for all. We're going to answer your questions, comments, and get into a little bit of these news items. Keep it tuned right here on the Shannon Joy Show. Huge thank you to our friends over at Native Path. Guys, get your collagen 45% off right now. It is great for your hair, your nails, your bones. It not only helps you to look great, but it helps you to feel great as well. This has been my experience with, as you guys know, devastatingly handsome Dr. Joy. He's very stubborn. He doesn't listen to me. I try, getting him on the vitamin D and the vitamin C and the regular protocols and all the things that are good for him. He's had the worst joint pain. He's super active, plays a lot of beach volleyball with the kids. He walks every day, is very fit. He eats great, has great discipline, but he was having joint pain, like a tennis elbow. His knees were hurting. And, about a month ago or 2 months ago, he was like, I think I'm just old. I think this is just the way that I'm supposed to feel now every day, where everything hurts. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just please start taking the collagen, you stubborn thing. And I finally convinced him to do it. And he will tell you that his joint pain is almost gone. Like, he feels so much better on the daily collagen. He has been on it for about 2 weeks. He gets upset if we run low, and he's like, oh my gosh, we got to get you more collagen from Native Path. And it's just one of those things. As you get older, I feel like just needs to be worked into your life every single day. And as you guys know, I take my collagen every morning in my coffee. The Native Path collagen is clean. It dissolves perfectly and instantly. It has no flavor whatsoever. So you don't even know that it is in your coffee. My husband actually dumps in a Native Path hydrate and then the collagen in cold water every morning. I don't know how he does that, but anyway, he does. Very easy to take, and the price point is better than any product on the market when you use the Joy URL. So it's getnativepathcollagen.com/joy. Getnativepathcollagen.com/joy. I'll pop it into the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. And right now, 45% off. 45% off. It's an amazing deal. They have 6-jar bundles, 3-jar bundles, but you can really stock up for a year with the 45% off deal. It's amazing just for the Joy audience, and they give that only to this audience. So thank you to Native Path. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. And yes, Native Path, we have a new product I'm absolutely obsessed with that we're going to be rolling out this week. One of their best sellers, it's the Native Path Complete Protein. And we get it in a big bag. It is one of the favorites at the Joy household. My kids put it in everything. It's your extra added source of grass-fed beef protein. And my son uses it. All my kids are athletes. They're beach volleyball players, 2 collegiate. My son plays in Maryland for collegiate beach volleyball. And my daughter is going down to Austin Peay University in Tennessee next year. She's playing Division I beach volleyball. And my 13-year-old Teddy plays as well. So they are always looking to get more protein in their diet. And they love this mix. It's complete protein, powder form, sourced from grass-fed beef. It has the complete amino acid profile. It supports healthy aging. That's why I like it. But you can put it in pancakes. You can put it in milk. They mix it in for chocolate milk. They put it in their shakes, their smoothies. It dissolves perfectly. It's easy to digest and absorb. And I mean, you're going to learn, we're going to learn about all of the great benefits of this product, but the kids are obsessed with it. It tastes so good. Native Path Complete Protein, Native Path Complete Protein. And as you know, they always come to the table with a great deal. Right now, 41% off. To stock up, you need to go to nativepathcompleteprotein.com/joy. That's nativepathcompleteprotein.com/joy. And sorry, Annie, I didn't get you that URL yet. It is in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show, but we will pop that up in Rumble as well. Let's get to, so thank you to Native Path. Thank you to Colonial Metals Group. And let's get to the live chat. Watch Woman Deborah, great to see you on YouTube. Welcome to the Shannon Joy Show on YouTube. Jesus is the way. Deborah, could not agree with you more. Stop idolizing the Democrat or Republican or Trump or even Massey. We love Tom Massey, but these politicians are humans. They put their pants on one leg at a time, just like all of us, right? None of them are perfect. All of them are flawed. And I think the most flawed candidates go to Washington, D.C. These are the people who really, lust for power and money. They want to be in proximity of power. And so, like, the worst of the worst people just flock to Washington, D.C. And, this is why we should never trust them ever. I don't care if it's a Democrat or Republican. But I agree with you, Deborah. Jesus is the way. Also, she wrote, Moderna halts the RSV pediatric vaccine trial after 5 infants were hospitalized. The hospitalizations from the clinical trial have been raised. There are broader concerns about the safety of mRNA vaccines in the young people. And that is why it is truly astounding. I saw this. This was a report that I saw come over my Twitter feed that ASIP, Robert Malone, that they approved RSV pediatric vaccines for children. That is unbelievable coming from this administration that was supposed to be the administration who was going to stop all this. Rachel Cunningham is with us. Hey, everyone. Great to see you on the YouTube chat. DG8 is with us on the live chat here on Rumble. Shannon, the left-right paradigm is a prison. People cannot see tyranny when they are blinded by a leader they worship. Tyranny is easy when people blindly trust any politician. DG8, I agree with you 100%. I don't understand why this isn't just common sense. To me, this is so easy. It is so easy to see. It is so easy to prove. And I went through this process. I've gone through this process for 12 years with this show. Like, going through it. Do you know how many budget reconciliation bills we've been through here at the Shannon Joy Show? Big, beautiful omnibus bills, omni this, omni that. It is the same fan dance every single time. And every single time they pass it, every bill is worse than the last, and it is always bipartisan. So this idea that we should still engage in this pageantry of elections, I think, at least for now, is just not feasible and not even reasonable. Who else do we have on I see some new faces on the live chat and some old friends as well. Welcome, Mark the Regan. Great to see you. Welcome, Rothen Walker. Great to see you as well. CJP Rumble is with us. Mav 2022 is with us as well. Don't frag me, bro. Good to see you. Nostradamus joins us today on the live chat. Bilbo Flappers, great to see you. Have not seen you before on the live chat. And Bilbo Flappers takes collagen every single day. Myself as well. I take collagen every day, and the protein is great. The kids love the protein, especially because they're always trying to, it's not bulking up. They're always trying to add protein to their diet. And it helps with recovery for, like, long days. If you can imagine in a tournament weekend, so we're going to go to nationals. This is just a side note. So kids are playing in beach nationals in Virginia Beach in just a couple weeks. And the way these tournaments run, the kids will play. It's a 3-day tournament. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and they will play 8-9 games a day, right? So all day in the sun, all day in the heat, major exertion of energy. And if you think about it, it's doubles. So indoor volleyball, you have 6 people on a court, a lot fewer opportunities to touch the ball. In beach volleyball, you are in every single play, serving, setting, hitting, passing, playing defense, all of the things. So it really takes a toll on their muscles, on their joints. And so that's why the recovery is so important. It's why they always have the protein. But again, yes, 41% off Native Path protein. It's nativepathcompleteprotein.com/joy if you want that 41% off discount. But yes, collagen and protein every single day. Truth or Rick is with us. Great to see you. Haven't seen you on the live chat before. Who else do we have here on the live chat? Done Fed Up has joined us. Zen Woman, of course. Ooh, M. Garth Hilton has a comment. Why are we talking about the federal layer of our republic so much? We must focus on local bulwarks of liberty and begin building them. We must use our labs of liberty now. Shannon, more localism. M. Garth Hilton, you are singing to the choir. This has been the consistent in terms of solutions. Again, there is no silver bullet. There is no single solution out there. And even local governments can become corrupted, as we see today with so many of our county governments across the country. However, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do everything we can to seize back our local governments, explore grand juries for actual justice in our local communities. And Garth Hilton, that's something that I wanted to talk about with you at some point, because I do think at this point, grand juries, local grand juries, might be a very, very important component of seizing back our liberty and our rights. In the same way that state sovereign banks plus gold and silver as legal tender is a way for the states to seize back fiscal sanity and fiscal control for their constituents and the citizens of their states. In addition to that, if we want to look at justice, right? Well, we know that the Supreme Court is corrupted. Most of the federal courts are corrupted at every single layer. You'll find a few good ones, a few good judges every now and then, but the vast majority of them rule in the wrong way for the wrong reasons, and that's because of hundreds of years of case law that has bad case law that has been stacked upon itself, and so there's just like very hard to maneuver. So I think that grand juries could be a very critical component. But yes, local organization, your local civics organizations, your Rotary, running for school board, town board, village board, zoning is going to be critical as they try to plop down thousands and thousands of acres of mega data centers that use an enormous amount of water, an enormous amount of energy, and put out a constant whining, humming that travels miles, absolutely devastating the local communities around them. These are the thousands of massive data centers that they are proposing and they are beginning to fund in the big betrayal bill. That's a good segue into the AI provisions in the big betrayal bill. We'll go there in just a minute. But if you want to fight those, I mean, people, what are we going to do, Shannon? This bill passes. First of all, let's just acknowledge that every media commentator on the right, save a few, is a complete failure and a disaster. None of them are warning about this BBB. None of them are doing due diligence to the provisions in the BBB, and they are focusing on everything else that doesn't matter. When it matters, they are never there, ever. And that goes for Sean Hannity, Mark Levin, Glenn Beck, Fox News, name your pundit. None of them are on this. Shame on them. Shame on them, given everything that they've said throughout their careers about liberty and freedom and fiscal sanity. What a joke that is, right? Mike Lee, Ted Cruz, two of the key members of the Senate behind these terrible provisions. One, to sell off pristine land to the lowest billionaire bidders and their cronies, and then the AI provision that we're going to talk about here. But when people say to me, oh, what are we going to do? How are we going to, it's going to pass and everything is so terrible. Well, this is what you do. You get up out of the armchair, you turn off Fox News, you turn off talk radio, and you get yourself to a local board meeting and you just start showing up. Then you start talking to your neighbors and don't do the right left thing, okay? Because that's going to turn everyone off. It's not going to help you. Just address everything from a liberty perspective, our founding documents, and common sense, right? And start to get activated in your local community. And then when they come in and they dangle money, okay, well, you're going to get $100,000 worth of grant money from the federal government. But oh, by the way, in the fine print, they didn't tell you that it's going to cost your community like $10 million over the next 10 years, right? But this is the way that they get local leaders who aren't in the know, who don't get how these things work or do get it and don't care. That's how they get them to buy into all the bad things. The charging stations, the sustainability development plans, the LGBTQ like flag waving, draping your town or village in, rainbow madness every June and July. Like a lot of these initiatives are from outside of your town or village, and it's just, people come in and advocate, and your leaders will fall for it. So these things are going to have to be challenged at the local level. I have been saying this since Common Core. I figured it out during Common Core. And, everyone just gets mesmerized by the shiny objects and the reality DC TV show happening in Washington, and people fall right back in. It's astounding to watch. I don't know how many times we have to do this before people figure this out. So M. Garth Hilton, yes, 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 I agree with you 100%. About localism. It's absolutely critical. JD is with us on X. From the beginning, a corrupted vote in a bureaucracy as a Congress. I don't even know what that is, but okay. Ooh, S.J. Bellius. The Hegelian dialectic effect, always in motion, creating the problem, waiting for the reaction, or manipulating the reaction. See, if you're using front-facing influencers and media people who are bought off, you can actually manipulate the reactions to the problems and then offer up the pre-planned solution. So they start with the end in mind. What would we like to do? We would like to get every American on a digital ID. And we would like to attach that digital ID to digital money. Well, certain things have to happen in order for them to justify that. And they will either use naturally occurring events, and they will estimate those, never let a crisis go to waste in type of way, to achieve those predetermined agenda items. But no, everything is predetermined. They are writing these bills in advance, and they are working years ahead of all of us, right? Then they get the nice crisis. They get the next, whether it's a COVID pandemic or bioterror event or 9/11 or you name it, natural disaster, and they will use that then to push forth their agendas. And it's all about the consolidation of power and money into fewer and fewer hands. That's really the secret. And the Democrats and Republicans have learned that rather than opposing each other, if they play the game together, they can all get filthy rich and all get filthy powerful. And same with the government and the corporations. It used to be governments and corporations fought with each other, and there was a tension there. There was a battle. But at some point, the corporations and government people realize that when they work together very nicely, they can all get rich, and corporations can benefit from their proximity to power, and government agencies, agents, and politicians can get those kickbacks on the back end. And now they're just doing it right in front of our faces. I mean, Trump is launching meme coins. He's working deals to get casinos in Dubai. He's getting a $400,000 private jet payout. Like they're not even embarrassed or ashamed about this anymore. They're not trying to hide it. This is all out into the open. The handout of contracts, billions of dollars worth of contracts to Elon Musk affiliated corporations, big tech, to Peter Thiel of, in Palantir, it's breathtaking. I said that word again. I need to stop saying that word. But yes, that's an absolute truth, S.J. Bellius, about the Hegelian dialectic, which is something that we've talked about here on the Shannon Joy Show often. It's a controlling of both sides of any type of conflict, right? Like you have the conflict, and then your job as the covert operator up top is to control both sides of that argument. And they do it in a variety of different ways. Let's see who else we have here on the live chat. Oh, Buskman, Shannon, would love Annie giving us the latest update on the Middle East situation. Everything's happening in Iran. Her Substack is incredible. Well, if she's up for it, we have time today. Annie is producing the show today. Isn't it interesting? A hyper focus on the Middle East, Israel, Iran. It's, World War III major conflict, and now it's like we're on to the next crisis. Now we're on to 4th of July, bioterror, the big betrayal bill. I mean, they just move us. This is why I say every day the news is like a fire hose in my face, and it probably is for all of you as well. Mark the Regan, who in this chat knew that the pandemic was a scam from the very beginning? Not too many people, but I will say, for those of you who have been with the Shannon Joy Show for quite some time, you knew that I knew. I mean, we were very early. I think the first protest I organized. So what we locked down March 15th. It took me about 2 weeks to get my bearings. I got kicked out of my studio. I was just on radio back then, 5 years ago. Got kicked out of my studio at iHeart Radio, downtown Rochester. And so I had to do my show from home by myself, literally mic and a wall. Like, it was awful. It's terrible. But it took a couple weeks to get my bearings. And I think it was right around week 3 or 4 when I told everyone, like, this is complete bollocks. This is ridiculous. And we had I organized, along with a few other organizers here in Rochester, our first revolt. I mean, we had a protest on, I want to say, May 1st. So it's about a month and a half, 2 months in, and we were on the street corners protesting. It was I forget the name of oh my gosh, a Restart Rochester. I think it was Restart Rochester was the name of our protest. And we're like, end the lockdowns. It's over. No one's dying. No one's sick. The emergency rooms are not, this is in New York State. The one thing I did not realize was how long it was going to go and how long it was going to persist. I mean, here we are 5 years into this. We're still in military lockdown. By the way, the COVID-19 lockdowns were military run. So this was a military operation run out of Department of Defense. And we're still in that national emergency, by the way. So the operation is still running. So we're still not out of it, right? They've allowed us out of lockdown, but they have all of the mechanisms in place, all of the legal documentation, the emergency orders, everything is still in place. It's been extended to 2029. That was extended by the Biden administration. And so we're still in this. What I did not realize was how long it was going to last and how hard it was going to be to get out of it. I thought, oh my gosh, what I really thought was that the American people were going to go bananas. I'm like, there's no way they're going to stay in their houses. And then when they were doing the masking, like, I'm like, there's no way they're going to put filthy rags over their children's faces, or their own faces for that matter. And I just continue to be astounded, even today, the betrayals by so many of our medical freedom warriors. It's just astounding to watch. Astounding to watch. Who else do we have here on the live chat? What is on your mind, guys? Questions, comments. LT Oracle of Truth. Annie was on Hearts of Oak over the weekend. Great interview. Amazing. Glad to hear that. Don't frag me, bro. A little more on the Hegelian dialectic. It's about problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem so they can offer their solution, and that achieves their agenda. What you're describing is controlled opposition. Yeah. So, well, that's kind of how they control the dialogue, is through influencers, people like myself who come in and they have audiences. They built audiences. The difference with me and this show is that the network is independent. That has been very important to me. I have sacrificed a lot to remain completely independent. And so the Shannon Joy Show has no secret backers. I don't have a secret billionaire like Peter Thiel, like, funding anything at all. I don't, and you guys would be surprised how many front-facing influencers and people in the media have backers, like billionaire backers. We don't have that here at the Shannon Joy Show. Kind of wish we did, but then they probably have a little more control. I don't know, but yes, we don't have that. We don't accept money from politicians, political parties, political action groups. So we don't accept any money from the right or the left or anyone with a political agenda. There are sometimes issues groups who will come in and they will want you to promote a certain issue, even if it's lying with what I believe in. If they don't let me disclose that, then I won't take that money. So there are a lot of influencers and commentators out there who will take money, so thousands of dollars, 5,000 a month, 20,000 a month, you name it. It depends on how lucrative this issue is, but they'll take the money and they will then begin to push that issue out, but they won't disclose it to their audience, which I think is unethical. So I don't think it passes journalistic muster. If you have money coming in, personally, I think that you should be disclosing how that money comes in so that your audience can take everything you say with a grain of salt. Now, I've seen a lot of this with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has spread out a lot of money, and a lot of that money overlaps with medical freedom people. And I don't have proof of that, so I'm not going to name any names, but I have it. It is very clear to me that that Bitcoin and all of these cryptos, so Tether, stablecoin, a lot of the people pushing the crypto agenda or the digital money agenda, I would not be surprised if they weren't funding a lot of the people who you trust for your news every single day, even the ones that say they're independent. Foreign governments will come in. We saw this with Tim Pool and Benny Johnson. Foreign governments, some of them who are even hostile to the United States of America, will dump money in influencer accounts in order for them to talk about certain issues, certain topics in a favorable light. So we don't do that here at the Shannon Joy Show. In fact, I've turned down a good amount of revenue for this show, trying to keep the journalistic integrity of the show so that you guys know what my angles are. And so the structure of this show, just so you know, if there are any new viewers or new listeners, who is funding the show. It's our advertisers. So we provide this for free to all of you. So the content is free, but I work deals with advertisers that I trust who offer products and services that I like. And so we don't have a ton. We have PCM and Associates, Colonial Metals Group right now. Native Path has been an amazing partner of the Shannon Joy Show and the Satellite Phone Store. And then we bring in other advertisers from time to time if they have specials or deals. And I work those deals. I decide who advertises on this show and who doesn't. If I'm platforming on Rumble or YouTube, sometimes they'll drop advertisers into my show. I don't have any control over that, but everything that you see organically coming from this show, I have editorial control, and I also have veto power because it's like my company. The Joy Media is my company. I think that's the most elegant and trustworthy way to run a show. Now, it's not always perfect, right? And there's always influence happening, but we have gotten so far away from this journalistic integrity that used to be. I mean, the newspapers used to have like the news section, the sports section, the editorial section, and the advertising section, right? As long as those ads are very clearly labeled and you know that it's a sponsor, then you can take everything I say with a grain of salt, right? And even if, say, I were to take, say Ron DeSantis was going to run for president, I probably wouldn't take anything. I mean, I like Ron DeSantis, I like Tom Massey, but I probably wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't take anything, overtly political. Guitar Lily, Shannon's new motto: no sugar daddies here. We have zero sugar daddies here at the Shannon Joy Show. Not to tell you, I mean, I have lamented, Naomi Wolf and I have lamented before. We're like, where are our billionaires? Everyone has a billionaire. Like everyone front facing, it seems, has a billionaire like tucked away in the back. And we don't have one. Makes things a little bit more complicated. And you guys know, we've been deplatformed here on the Shannon Joy Show. We've lost advertisers due to politics. I mean, COVID destroyed my local market. That's why I platformed nationally. I lost virtually every single local advertiser locally because I was protesting. I got arrested at a school board meeting for not wearing my mask properly. And so, my car dealerships, my restaurants, like it was just too hot, this show, to advertise. And it was like very precarious for a while. And then, as you guys know, we platform nationally, and now we have there's just a lot out there for us, a lot of ways to generate revenue into this show so that we can grow and continue to platform and do it ethically. You can do it. And it's something that's always at the forefront of my mind. So who else do we have here on the live chat? Annie, some of the chatters would like to hear from you, and also a an update in Iran, but I do not want to bring you on unless you want to come on. So it's up to you. What do you say? Okay. Yes. Yeah. Why don't we take an ad break and then we'll have 15 minutes to wrap and then we'll bring Annie in. I do want to talk a little bit about the AI provisions in the big beautiful bill. It's such a disaster. I think Trump wants to sign it on the 4th. It's very fluid right now. It keeps changing. They're putting things in and taking them out, putting them in and taking them out. So we're going to get to that, but yeah, let's do a break and then we'll bring Annie in just for a little discussion. Honor seeker, not having a billionaire makes your program more precious than gold. Oh, well, I figure I get to be myself too. That's the other nice thing about being independent. Like sometimes you'll get, if you're on networks, man, the network has an agenda that might not jive with your agenda. You might not know what the network's agenda is. They have all kinds of things that are dictating and governing what they're going to talk about, what they aren't going to talk about. And so for me, it was the harder way, like going independent, doing this myself, with a team of, great people like Annie, but building it slowly over time, this independent network. I'm so glad I did it this way. I'm so glad because I don't have entanglements and I can step away from it anytime I want. If, not that I would, but I just wish that so many of my colleagues would have trusted to do it this way. So many of them think that they need a big backer or a network, or they have to go to Fox News, or they have to have, this platform or that platform. And it's like every step you take to get to the top, it's like you got to give something up of yourself. You got to give up a little bit of your principles. I just never wanted to do that. And I chose being small and mighty and doing it the hard way than trying to do it the easy way. And so, that's just how we do things here at the Shannon Joy Show. And if it ever changes, I'll let you know, but I don't think it will. Okay, let's go to break. Then we come back. We will bring in Annie for a quick update on what is going on in Iran and a conversation about the massive expansion of technocracy and AI and this provision, devastating provision. I mean, this should kill the entire bill. The BBB, the big betrayal bill, should be dead in the water just because of this foundational change to the way that we do things here in the United States of America based on AI without any discourse. There's no debate. It's the federal government is doing this. They're inserting all the AI. They're going to build all the databases, and there's not a damn thing that the judges, the states, the citizens can do about it. And we're not even having a debate on this. That's how astounding this is, this AI provision in the BBB. Interestingly enough, even the conservatives who are criticizing this bill are not criticizing it really for the right reason. Okay, this AI provision is one of the worst things I've ever seen. So we're going to hit that, and we're going to get Annie's update on what's going on in the Middle East when we come back right here on the Shannon Joy Show. As you guys know, I love the folks over at Colonial Metals Group. Listen, if you can buy a house with gold and silver, which you are almost able to do in the great state of Florida, given what Governor Ron DeSantis has been doing, not only with making gold and silver legal tender, but also beginning the process of establishing a state sovereign bank. Man, if you can buy a house with gold and silver, why wouldn't you back your retirement, or at least a portion of your retirement, with gold and silver? You guys know chaos is the name of the game. In fact, ever since the day that President Trump stepped into office, it's been pure chaos. Whether it's erratic tariffs, actually taxes levied on the American people, insider trading that we're seeing blatantly from this administration and friends of this administration, massive bloated budgets that look exactly like Biden era budgets and Obama era budgets, debt and deficit, the continuation of the printing of money and the devaluation of the dollar, inflation as far as the eye can see, and now chaos in our streets, right? It is all chaos. There is one hedge against chaos when it comes to your finances, and that is gold and silver. It's a metals strategy, whether it's gold and silver in your safe or in a safety deposit box, or backing up your retirement with an individual, self-directed IRA backed by gold. This is what so many Americans are very quickly realizing is the hedge to chaos. They can do anything they want, but they can't come after your gold and they can't touch your gold. And this is why it is so important to call Colonial Metals Group right now. Okay. colonialmetalsgroup.com/joy. Do not wait. I know there are so many of you out there. You have heard me talk about Colonial Metals Group, the amazing staff, how awesome they are for many, many years, and you have held off. Today is the day. Do not wait. I think that there's still a lot of room actually for the value of gold and silver to grow. And there's a lot from our friend Jesse Colombo and Peter Schiff on the fact that they're still very bullish on these metals. So it's not too late, but you need to get that strategy in place right now. colonialmetalsgroup.com/joy, colonialmetalsgroup.com/joy. They're giving away $7,500 in free silver to the Joy audience for those of you who qualify. This is a limited time deal, but you have to go to my page, colonialmetalsgroup.com/joy, to learn about that offer. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. Guitar Lily on the live chat. I just got this email from the Musicians Union. Please click here to email your senators and ask them to remove the ban on state AI regulation from the reconciliation package. That's the AI provision in the BBB. Guitar Lily, I'm really glad to hear that. We're going to need to fight like hell to get these provisions out of this bill. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but I do want to bring in our amazing, wonderful Inez Annie Cyrus, whose Substack has been on fire regarding what is going on in the Middle East and Iran. She is native Iranian, Persian, speaks the language and has contacts there. Annie, how are you on this gloriously beautiful Monday? It's gorgeous out right now. How you doing?
Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. I wish I could say it's gorgeous here. We are getting hit by a storm, but I'm still doing pretty good.
Oh, good. Well, I'm so glad to hear that. Heard that you did a couple interviews over the weekend. The audience in the live chat want to hear from you about what is the latest in the Middle East and what are your thoughts on what's going on?
Sure, I will make this as fast as I can considering we have 9 minutes. Middle East is pretty much right where it has been for 40 years. Everybody's waiting for the next bomb to drop. Like, genuinely, we're right where we were 40 years ago. I know it sounds funny, but that's literally like all day long, Israel's releasing press release, making threats toward Hamas and Iran, and then Iran comes out and put it out. It's the same thing, you know. It's ridiculous.
Groundhog Day political hell. I coined that a decade ago, Annie. And I guess it's true. It's true for war as well. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but here's where it gets. I want to bring it home if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm neither pro or anti or whatever. I am just a journalist who likes to put the truth out.
Right.
However, in last 5 days, Shannon, I have felt so embarrassed. I never thought I would say this. I am more embarrassed by current president of the United States of America than I was for 4 years of Biden.
Unbelievable.
This guy did one speech. The guy is Trump. One speech. One. Within that one speech, he contradicted himself 4 times. Like, literally, he started, somebody wrapped it up the best way on a comment on my Substack saying, this person commented saying, I voted for this man 3 times, knowing he's a narcissist. But today, I'm thinking, is he suffering from cognitive decline? One moment, he's all about unconditional surrender. Then he's all about God bless Iran. Then he's all about let's lift the sanctions. Then he's all about I'm going to come kill every single one of you. Like, make up your mind, man. He put a truth out that was so embarrassing. He called the supreme leader of Iran a man of great faith.
Unbelievable.
Who does that? And then within the same one, he said, not only he didn't thank me for saving his life, but he's so mean to me. And I'm like, oh, what is this? Daycare?
I see, this is the problem with me though, Annie. I don't consume any of that anymore. Like, I forget that people are listening to Glenn Beck and Fox News and Steve Bannon and like the right wing. Like I don't hear any of this because I'm only looking at like you know me, I'm a discernible policy outcome kind of gal. Like I want to know what you're doing. I don't care what you're saying. I don't care about your speech. You know, maybe I should pay a little more attention to it. But I feel like it's just the absurdity builds on itself until we're at a point now. I don't know how people can take the political cycle seriously, these presidents, these politicians. Like it's I don't even know what to say. There's nothing real here.
Well, but
they're just
that's
like
exactly
yanking us back and forth.
where the problem is, that so-called truth of him that he put out. It literally was everything he was. It was a summary of everything he's done in last 2 weeks. So he summarized his own actions in one truth, and it was so embarrassing that I was like,
Yeah,
why is anybody in any shape or form okay with these actions?
right.
Like, how can anyone still pretty much defend him in any shape or form, or as you said, take him serious? As I'm talking, I'm trying to put this thing on a screen for you and your audience to see. This was the Tehran Times, which is Iranian regime's English newsletter that comes out. This came out Saturday. I don't really think I need to say anything. And that is the truth. He did put that truth out, saying unconditional surrender, and then 2 days later gave him an option of ceasefire under lifting sanctions. Like, they are knowing him. I never thought I would agree with an Iranian tied newspaper, but this is what we should be publishing right now. He is a clown. How do we take anything he says serious?
This is what kills me. It's the very serious Steve Bannon gets the war experts and all of, you know what I mean, like the geopolitical so and so who is like an envoy for whatever, and they have all these experts come in and with a straight face they give analysis, and I can't even watch them without being like, you guys, like, because everything that they're building their analysis on is built upon a lie, which is also built upon another lie. And it's just, it's unbelievable. It's
It,
unbelievable.
well, here's how they're keeping.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing. A good friend of mine said this. I'm gonna steal it from him, and he knows I steal that from him. They keep their straight faces staring at the check they just received this morning.
That's true.
I
It's true.
promise you, none of them, in any shape or form, believe in what they're saying, because they don't.
Yep.
Remember, every single one of these people, at one point or another, have come out and said something addressing the fact that they report because they're loyal to the party.
Mm,
That right there is a confession. When your loyalty is to a party and not to your nation or your constitution or your faith for that matter, then
yeah.
it is where it's at. Because you're running out of time, I don't want to take more of your time, but bottom line is, next bomb is on the way. This war isn't over. This ceasefire, as always, is one of those Middle Eastern ceasefires that one side needed a minute to breathe. So it's
Mm,
not over. It's probably going to start within next week or two. More bombs are going to be dropped, and more joke is going to come out of Trump's mouth. And it's just the added bonus to what we
yeah.
faced with Hamas and Hezbollah before. Now Iran is directly in the middle of it too. That's the bottom line. But the good news for us Iranians is that Crown Prince Pahlavi is on his own traveling to different European countries. He has
Amazing.
already released a statement this morning. He was in London time. He already sat down, spoke to the parliament. He is moving forward with the regime change in Iran, regardless of what Trump or his administration have in mind. He is going solo with lots of support from European countries, but mainly from his own people. So that's the good news for today.
Yeah, very, very good. I'm getting a very real Ukraine quagmire vibe in all of this. Like this is now going to be a long, drawn out bomb here, bomb there, this thing, that thing, right? But if you know, amidst that, you know, you're able to smuggle in a little revolution by the people from the bottom up in Iran, bringing in who they believe is a rightful leader or a leader that should be um, in a position of power, then that's the opportunity, right? I
Exactly.
was I was talking to someone over the weekend about this. Like the benefit is like these oligarchs and billionaires, they're so corrupt right now. They're so brazen right now. This is right in our faces. And this is when they all start fighting, right? So as every 100 years or so, we have these kind of tectonic shifts. It's usually right around the time of innovation or new technologies. And it's when everything kind of, it does resettle a little bit. Like you move into the next 100 years, and this is all very cyclical. But they, the good news for us little people is that eventually the oligarchs and the billionaires will start fighting amongst themselves. And if we are smart enough to stay out of the fracas, right, not fight their wars, not comply with their unjust laws or their anti-constitutional or anti-liberty lockdowns, right? If we continue to resist that, then we have a shot at surviving and actually building something new from the bottom up. And I would guess that this is a very similar situation in Iran as well. And I
Hmm.
would guess that this is a similar situation in Israel and all of the nations. It's not nation versus nation or left versus right or Democrat versus Republican or government versus corporation. All of those entities have come together into a mass of tyrannical insanity, right? So it is them against us. We, the little people, at the bottom up level. And our job is to survive. That's,
Yes, and
that's
here's the
what it is.
thing: the worst they do. This is not me defending, because I have my stance on it. Doesn't matter where you come from. If you commit a crime, you're a criminal. But recently, ICE picked up an actual asylum seeker with paperwork legally in the country, Christian pastor, Iranian. They picked him up.
Wow.
With the ceasefire, bombs dropping in this last action, what I can report is comes midterm, more than 35% of Iranians have walked away from both Republican and Democrat Party and they have become independent.
Wow.
That right there is a
Amazing.
great news because we're a pretty big population in America.
I love that.
Trump knows himself that he won this term with a lot of help of foreign slash Americans. He just lost support of easily 35% of Iranian American populations. I'm
Yeah.
proud of him for saying the truth. But as you said, we just gotta stay focused as this. What is it coming? The bio attack this Friday. So wear your
Oh,
masks.
yeah. Yeah. Everyone be careful. Get really scared. There's a bio terror attack. I shouldn't.
I
Listen,
know. I did the same
these
thing.
people they are very comfortable. They have no problem with offing millions of people. They do collateral damage. Okay. These are the people who wage wars. They do not care.
Listen, you know how
Um,
many masks and freeze dry food they just sold over that one report? Come on, we both know why they say what they
right.
say.
I know. I have more for tomorrow. We gotta go. We gotta wrap up the
Okay,
show. Annie
I'm going to
Cyrus,
leave you so you can close up. Thank you, guys.
amazing. Thank you for that update, Annie. And we didn't get to the AI, but don't worry, guys. The AI provision in this bill is going to be a major theme of the show this week. Tomorrow, Seth Holhouse, Man in America, joins us for the first time in the Joy Virtual Studio, working on Dr. David Martin. Fingers crossed. If we don't get him in on Wednesday, we will get him in later this week or early next week, and we'll be talking about that July 4th bioterror simulation that he broke just a couple months ago. And then, of course, Aaron Day. He is an expert on technocracy, digital currency, and all three of these guests, independent guys. They're not left or right. They're just like you and me. And it is my privilege to be able to introduce you guys to so many new voices and thinkers and commentators, people who are outside of that left right fracas. So that's what we're going to do this week. You guys are amazing. Thank you for being with us, supporting the show. Thank you to our sponsors, Colonial Metals Group, the satellite phone store, Native Path. We love the protein, so that's on special this month. It's in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. And of course, as always, Don Polano of PCM and Associates. He's my financial advisor. He's been with this show since the very beginning, the very first advertiser and sponsor ever 12 years ago. PCM and Associates, PCMPolano.com is his website. And he's my financial advisor. He can be yours as well. Just go check out that 800 number. And it's a guy that you can trust and that shares your values. All right, folks, we will be back tomorrow to do it all again right here on the Shannon Joy Show.